We usually imagine the origins of this movement as a group of like-minded strangers meeting in a synagogue to start a religion, but the early community was a dynasty. This had a son named Simeon. This makes Simeon the direct first cousin of the movement's founder. Authority in this community was inherited through the bloodline. Simeon's leadership didn't come from a theological appointment. It was anchored in the intimate, physical memory of his own family. In the year 70 CE, the center of the Judean universe collapsed. The Roman army destroyed the temple in Jerusalem, leaving the city in ruins. In the chaos that followed, the Jesus movement faced total dispersion and the very real threat of extinction. Simeon stepped into the void. He was elected as the second bishop of Jerusalem because his status as a kinsman and a witness to the resurrection provided a stabilizing authority that no stranger could match. He led this community for 4 decades through their darkest period. He was a titan of his era, yet in modern history, his name has been almost entirely replaced. As the early church expanded into a global Roman institution, it needed an authority that could be systematized and controlled. A fiercely Jewish bloodline in Jerusalem was a threat to that centralized vision. This shift was driven by onomastic gravity, where a lesser figure is absorbed by a famous one sharing his name. Simeon's Syrian leadership, legal debates, and writings were stripped from his record and assigned to the apostle Simon Peter. The institutional need for a history free from Jewish family ties replaced the memory of Jesus' cousin with the more useful legend of Peter. While the Christians were rewriting his history, Simeon was also trying to keep his family's community within the broader world of Judaism. At Yavne, the center where Jewish sages gathered to rebuild their faith after the temple fell, they worked to standardize the Amidah. This is the central daily standing prayer of Judaism, originally consisting of 18 specific blessings. Simeon was the one who arranged the order of these blessings. Inside the 15th blessing, he hid a secret, a specific phrasing that could be read as a plea for his cousin's return. But the sages at Yavne realized his community's sectarian leanings. They bypassed him for the final edition and added a 19th blessing, a curse designed to identify and lock out his followers. This text from the Talmud records the arranger as Shimon ha-Pakuli. By corrupting his family name, the rabbis concealed his identity and recorded a titan of the Jerusalem church as a mere cotton dealer. By adding a 19th blessing to the 18 Simeon just restored, the rabbis transformed his liturgy into a rigid filter to identify and expel his followers. In the year 107 CE, the Roman state arrested the aging leader. He was reportedly 120 years old. He endured days of torture with a refusal to break that astonished the Roman governor, Atticus. There was no mercy for the patriarch. Simeon was crucified, suffering the same physical fate as his cousin. This physical execution was followed by a historical scrubbing. Both the Christian and rabbinic traditions worked to bury his memory under new names and titles. The Christians gave his life's work to Peter. The rabbis reduced him to a footnote about cotton merchants. Even the early editor Marcion worked to erase his presence from the written Gospels. We are seeing institutional survival acting as a gravitational force that overrides the bonds of blood. Simeon saved his community from the Roman swords and restored their sacred prayers, but he could not save his name from the architects of history. Today, we can finally strip away the labels of the institutions. He was not a dealer of flax, and he was not the fisherman Peter. He was Simeon, son of Clopas, the second bishop of Jerusalem.